Yes, welcome everyone. Cannabis news with Joe Klare for July 27th, 2018. Presented as always by the Marijuana Times. Check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab on marijuanatimes.org to find this show and check out all the articles there as well, all our social media links and more. marijuanatimes.org. Today, we're talking about a new bill that will require some marijuana research on the part of the federal government. Also, some good news out of the United Kingdom when it comes to medical marijuana, and an update on the New Jersey state senator who is very afraid of sex toy oils infused with marijuana. It's really something we're all worried about, so it's an important story. With all that in a second, but first, cannabis news brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com. Side is spelled C-I-D-E. Check out their organic, all-natural pesticides. They are a proud sponsor of Cannabis News. They have been with us since the beginning, almost 200 episodes in. Now, be regulatory compliant in the state that you're growing in. Make sure you grow safe and poison free. You can do all of that with Natureside and the organic pesticides. Nature-side.com. Site is spelled C-I-D-E. Go check them out today. The first story comes to us from marijuanatimes.org. And Julia Granowitz's new bill would require a federal study on marijuana legalization. This week, a bill was introduced in Congress that would require a federal study collecting data on the effects of marijuana legalization and prohibition. The bill was introduced by Representative Tulsi Gabbard. It's called the Marijuana Data and Collection Act. It will require the Department of Health and Human Services to partner with state and federal government agencies to research the effects of statewide legalization on the economy, public health, employment, and criminal justice. On the floor of the House, Gabbard said, quote, "For decades, bad data and misinformation have fueled the failed war on drugs that's wasted billions of taxpayer dollars, incarcerating Americans for nonviolent marijuana charges. Our outdated marijuana policies have turned everyday Americans into criminals, strained our criminal justice system, and cost taxpayers tremendously, and has also torn families apart," all of which is very true. Later in this story, Justin Streekel from Normal, political director for Normal, said something interesting and made an interesting point. He said, quote, "This is not a marijuana bill, it is an information bill. No member of Congress can intellectually justify opposition to this legislation. Our public policy needs to be based on sound data and science, not gut feelings or fear-mongering. Approving the Marijuana Data Collection Act would provide legislators with reliable and fact-based information to help them decide what direction is most beneficial to society when it comes to marijuana policy." And he's right, it's not a marijuana legalization bill. It is a study bill to study the issue. Isn't that what the government loves? They love task forces and the committees, and just that should be right up their alley, man. Study, yeah, more studies. We want to study what the effects are going to be. We're going to study what the study of the effects would be. Just study it all. That's what they're for. So, but even though this shouldn't be controversial, what do you want to bet that it is? You know, we'll still be talking about this months from now, and it's stalled in the House, and Pete Sessions is blocking it, and just you'll get the same garbage treatment that pretty much every other medical marijuana or recreational marijuana bill gets in Congress. It stalls and dies. Well, it stalls at least somewhere along the way. It doesn't die, just keeps coming back basically to the same spot. But the good news is there was a lot more when it comes to cannabis bills. The sheer number has increased dramatically. We talked about that a few weeks ago on one of these episodes. Some good news out of the UK. This is from The Guardian. Cannabis-based medicines get green light as UK eases rules. We've talked a lot about kids, especially children with epilepsy, having problems getting their medication in the UK. They're going on a case-by-case basis and giving special dispensations, and just the most inefficient, most awful, most time-consuming, time-dragging, feet-dragging way they could think of to do it. Well, apparently that's going to be changing here soon. Doctors in the UK will be able to prescribe cannabis-derived medicine after the government announced relaxation of laws governing the access to the substance. Thousands of people with drug-resistant conditions will potentially be able to use cannabis-derived medicinal products for treatment after the Home Secretary, Sajid Javid, announced they should be placed in Schedule 2 of the 2001 Misuse of Drug Regulations, allowing clinicians to prescribe them by the autumn. So it's just a few months away. Cannabis has been classified as a Schedule 1 drug, meaning it is thought to have no therapeutic value and cannot be lawfully possessed or prescribed, much the same as Schedule 1 is here in the United States. Which is, I'm imagining that's where they got the idea for their 2001 Misuse of Drugs Regulations. It may be used for the purpose of research, but a home office license is required. So that's better than what Schedule 1 gets here in the United States. The move by the Home Secretary comes after the government's official drug advisors and the Chief Medical Officer for England, Dame Sally Davies, separately concluded there was evidence of therapeutic benefit for some conditions. Again, we talked about this story as well a few weeks ago. There's a couple of profile cases of epileptic children having trouble getting their medicine. It's really brought this to the forefront. Announcing the changes, Javid said, quote, recent cases involving sick children made it clear to me that our position on cannabis-related medicinal products was not satisfactory, to say the least. This will help patients with an exceptional clinical need, but in no way is a first step to legalization of cannabis for recreational use. Excuse me, that didn't even be thrown in there. They're right now legalized for medical use. Get that going, because apparently it's something you all haven't thought about until just a couple months ago. Apparently it's a brand new idea. We've had medical marijuana in California for 22 years, but the UK is just now saying, oh, well, maybe we should do something about these sick kids who are going to the hospital and their quality of life is greatly improved by marijuana. Maybe in 2018 it's time to do something about that. Crazy. Oh, whoa. Don't move too fast. No. I'm going to calm down a little bit. Sorry about that. This last story is from WashingtonExaminer.com. It's a follow-up a story we talked about last week, I believe. Basically, a New Jersey state senator we've talked about quite a few times, very vocal in his opposition to recreational marijuana legalization in New Jersey. He said he had a lot of fears, and one of them was sex toy oils infused with marijuana. He said Senator Ron Rice, a Democrat, made the remark in a videotaped interview with NJTV. He told the Washington Examiner in an email he is concerned about, quote, marijuana-infused oils, not toys. Apparently, before I talked about the story last week, when I got to this story last week, the confusion had been cleared up. Apparently, initially, there was some confusion over whether or not he was talking about actually infusing sex toys with marijuana. Not sure exactly how that would work, but apparently there was a mix-up in the quote. When I got to the quote and I talked about the story, it was right. It was sex toy oils with marijuana. I'll play you a clip here in a second of State Senator Rice making those comments. And so, bottom line, I was mocking him then, and I'm glad to learn that I was not mocking him for the wrong quote. I was mocking him for the right quote. He is worried about lubrication, sex toy oils infused with marijuana. Of course, they can be used without sex toys. They can be used for by adults for adult purposes. So it wouldn't just be for sex toys. I think him mentioning calling them sex toy oils is where the confusion came in. But sex toy oils with marijuana, that's not any less silly when it comes to fears about marijuana legalization. Anyway, here's what State Senator Ron Rice, who, like I said, is very vocal in his opposition to recreational marijuana in New Jersey, and it's a very powerful opposition because he heads the Legislative Black Caucus in New Jersey, and he's a Democrat. Here he is in the original quote.
Recreational marijuana. Right across the street from my office, they're going to put up stores. They're going to call them dispensaries. They're going to be stores that do retail selling of cupcakes with marijuana, candies with marijuana, sex toy oils with marijuana, lipstick with marijuana, all those kinds of products that kids can get and people can get.
So that's what he's worried about, the dreaded sex toy oils with marijuana. Basically, if you had a hard time following that, because that's kind of a thick accent. Is that a New Jersey accent? I guess it's kind of a really kind of thick, maybe New Jersey accent with a little bit of Southern thrown in. I'm not sure. He said, right across the street from my office, they're going to put up stores. They want to call them dispensaries. They're going to be stores that do the retail selling of cupcakes with marijuana, candies with marijuana, sex toy oils with marijuana, lipsticks with marijuana, and all kinds of products that kids can get and people can get. I pointed out last week that one, it's not going to make it more likely for kids to get these things because they're going to be in stores. Stores, they have every reason to check ID if they don't want to be fined. They want to keep their licenses and so on. So he's basically, he throws in a little dig. They want to call them dispensaries. Call it whatever you want. Call it a pot shop. Call it a Weedtopia. I don't care. They're not infringing on the rights of anyone else. The people who buy these things are not infringing on the rights of anyone else, so they should be legal. Cupcakes with marijuana, yes. Lipstick with marijuana, candies, marijuana, sex toy oils with marijuana, yes. Jobs, tax revenue, things that shouldn't be legal in the first place. It's not going to lead to an increase of kids getting sex toy oils with marijuana. Let's say a kid did get a sex toy oil with marijuana. What are they going to do with it? They're put on their slip and slide. They're gonna have a bunch of stoned kids wandering around New Jersey because they've been using sex toy oil infused with marijuana on their slip and slide, and now they're all baked. Is that what we're worried about here? Aren't there other things going on in New Jersey? Apparently not. Apparently not, because this guy, Ron Rice, he can talk a lot about how much he doesn't like marijuana and how dangerous he thinks it is. Doesn't New Jersey have crime? Isn't there a violent crime problem in New Jersey? Aren't there a bunch of poor people that are struggling to make ends meet? Maybe one of them could get a job selling these things in one of these dispensaries, pot shops, whatever you want to call them, that he doesn't like. And he wants to degrade and denigrate. Maybe these people could be helped by these things. Oh, I don't know. But no, we're worried about the kids getting sex toys infused with marijuana, which is not even a real fear. It's like oh, well, every Halloween we get the scare about Halloween candy. There's just tons of Halloween candy. It's going to be filled with marijuana and all the kids are going to get it, and it's crazy, but it never happens. It never happens because it was never going to happen. This is never going to happen. There'll be a big problem with kids and sex toy oils infused with marijuana in New Jersey. I don't care how lax the regulations or the restrictions are. It's a ridiculous person. This is a ridiculous man. A great example of politicians, old guys, having so much power over this issue they know nothing about. Our old friend Tom Angel tweeted, when he tweeted out this the story about it, he said, key anti-legalization New Jersey lawmaker raises fears of sex toys and oils with marijuana. Apparently that was the original quote. Being sold if prohibition has ended. Oh dear, the horror. Even if there was a way to infuse a sex toy with marijuana, like I said, I don't even know how that would happen. What is the big deal? Who cares? Senator Rice, do something about your state. There's problems in your state you're supposed to be fixing. You're not supposed to be worrying about whether or not sex toy oils are infused with marijuana. It will not affect you at all. Ridiculous. Ridiculous person in charge of something very important. So he's one of the main reasons, that legalization, which looked like such a slam dunk after Governor Murphy was elected in November, now, well, it seems like a problem. It's been stalled. It's been delayed. Hopefully, now they're saying maybe September they'll get into it. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll follow New Jersey. We'll follow all the states. We'll follow everything we can here on Cannabis News. Another week in the books. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week. Make sure you go check out nature-side.com, our proud sponsor. Side is spelled CIDE. They're organic. All natural pesticides are awesome. Make sure you check us out on marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab. Check out the articles, the social media. We're blown up on Instagram. Go check us out on Facebook and Twitter and all that. It's fantastic. It's tremendous. It's tremendous. That's as good as it gets for my Trump impression. I'm sorry. I apologize. It tends, if I do my Trump impression for too long, it tends to border on Woody Allen, and nobody wants that. It's tremendous. See, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, we'll see you all next week. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Vimeo, YouTube, all that stuff. And continue to spread the word. Like, share, comment. Help us spread the truth about cannabis. And we'll see you next time on Cannabis News.